Before we proceed, I'd like to briefly turn over the meeting to two outstanding students who will receive the President's Award tonight. Please welcome to the dais Haley Kobe Delgado from East Point Elementary School and Michael Lopez from Del Valle High School.
Thank you, President Ochoa, and good evening. My name is Michael Lopez from Del Valle High School, and this is Haley Kobe Delgado from East Point Elementary School. It is an honor to call this meeting to order. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District's meeting of the Board of Trustees. The meeting of the Board of Trustees is a meeting of the board that the public is allowed to attend. As provided, Ysleta ISD Policy BED, we invite members of the public to make comments during the citizens' input portion at the start of the meeting, according to the instructions provided with the electronic posting notice of our meeting. Legally, the board may listen but may not enter into discussion on the matters in the citizens' input. We remind everyone that this is a board meeting often attended by students and ask that we conduct ourselves in a manner that best represents the values and traditions of the Ysleta Independent School District. This meeting of the Board of Trustees is called to order at 5:04 p.m. We have a quorum with Charlie Bustillos, Mike Rosales, Connie Woodruff, Catherine Lucero, and myself, Cruz Ochoa. Mr. Ramirez and Mr. Haggerty are running a little bit late. They'll be here shortly. Trustee Rosales, will you please introduce our junior ROTC?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It has become a tradition to honor our nation at each of our board meetings by presenting the colors, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and then posting the colors. The colors tonight are being presented by the Junior ROTC Color Guard from Eastwood High School. The Color Guard commander is Sergeant Major Tiffany Alvarez. The other Color Guard members are Major Joseph Kumar, Cadet Staff Sergeant Carlo Galvan, Cadet Major Bella Estrella. Pledge leader is Captain Myram Loya from Eastwood High School. Will you please stand for the presentation of the colors, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence. Please remain standing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, please join me in the pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Secretary de Luz, oh, no. Dr. De La Torre, do we have any recognitions and introductions this evening?
Good evening, President Ochoa, members of the board, esteemed guests, welcome. We do. I invite Associate Superintendent, Public Relations, Mr. Dan Martinez, who will lead in our recognitions and introductions this evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. De La Torre. We have 7 recognitions for you this evening. At this time, we ask all trustees to please come to the front of the dais for the presentation. Audience members, please remain seated until the recognition is complete. Thank you. Our first recognition honors 2 students, 6th grader Haley Kobe Delgado and senior Michael Lopez. Haley is an exemplary servant leader at East Point Elementary School, where she never hesitates to lend a helping hand to her peers and community while maintaining high grades and competing as a nationally ranked wrestler. Haley consistently participates in the school's community service projects, whether it's a food drive for Thanksgiving or a blanket drive for the Humane Society. She also volunteers her time and donates Christmas gifts to the Child Crisis Center and donates clothes and toys to a Juarez orphanage through her church. She's made the high honor roll every grading period since kindergarten and has mastered each STAR assessment in every area since 3rd grade. Haley is also a nationally ranked wrestler in her division and participates in ballet and soccer as well. Haley's stewardship, humble attitude, and generous heart sets her apart from her peers, and we honor her contributions tonight with the May 2022 President's Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first President's Award winner, East Point Elementary School, 6th grader, Haley Kobe Delgado. Let's give her a big round of applause. Haley is accompanied by Assistant Principal Rubina Flores Jurado and Principal Claudia Poblano. Let's hear it one more time for Haley. Our next honoree is Del Valle High School senior Michael Lopez, an exceptional student leader who works hard to stay at the top of his class and is on a bright path toward a successful future in college and career. Michael has led various community service projects that benefited the community, students, and families through his involvement in student council, band, and the digital media program. This past year, he served as the school's student council president, but for the first time ever at Del Valle High School, he simultaneously served as president for the District 9 Board of Directors, which oversees nearly 1,000 El Paso area students involved in their campus student councils. Michael's success is due to his perseverance, hard work, and dedication to excellence, particularly in academics and community service. He is a role model for his peers. His accomplishments make him a standout among all students, and we also honor him tonight with the May 2022 President's Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our second President's Award winner, Del Valle High School senior Michael Lopez. Let's give him a big round of applause. Michael is accompanied by his father and student activities director, Chris Lopez. And Principal Antonio Acuña. Let's hear it one more time for Michael. Our next recognition honors 12 students from Parkland Pre-Engineering Middle School, Valle Verde Early College High School, and the Young Women's Leadership Academy, who won first place in the region at the 25th Annual El Paso History Day Tournament. The contest engages hundreds of students from the region's public, private, and charter high schools in conducting original research on this year's theme of Debate and Diplomacy in History, Successes, Failures, and Consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin this recognition with our El Paso History Day champion from Parkland Pre-Engineering Middle School, who won first place for an exhibit called Zoot Suit Riots. Let's hear it for 8th grader Citali Silva. She is accompanied by teacher Karina Lujan. And Principal Dr. Angela Reyna. Congratulations, Novilleros. Next, we have 3 El Paso History Day champions from Valle Verde Early College High School, winning first place for a documentary called Selma to Montgomery, The Debate for the Right to Vote, the Successful Diplomacy of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Leading to the Beginning of Change, is senior Hugo Hernandez. Also capturing first place for her exhibit, Vietnam Veterans for and Against Their War, an Unresolved Conflict, is senior Elizabeth Murphy. And winning first place for her performance of labor and civil rights leader Dolores Huerta is senior Savannah Avila. They are accompanied by teacher Isabela Mora. And Principal Penelope Bankston. Congratulations, Spartans. Tonight's final El Paso History Day champions include students from the Young Women's Leadership Academy. Winning first for a website called The Cuban Missile Crisis, How Coerced Diplomacy Became the Salvation of the World, is senior Ashley Leyva. Also capturing first place for a group performance called The Women's Army Corps, How Female Soldiers Sparked a War of Words Across the Nation, are seniors Angelina Apodaca, and Brenda Bralick. Winning first for their group exhibit called Mine, 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 How the Debate and Diplomacy of the Berlin Conference Tore Africa at the Seams, are sophomores Emily Carroll, and Sophia McMahon. Lastly, winning second place in their exhibit about the last monarch of Hawaii are seniors Natalie Moses, Allison Soto, and Idalis Lopez. They are accompanied by Peter Bralick, their teacher. And Principal Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it again for the Transformers. Our next recognition is in honor of two mariachi groups from Del Valle and Hanks High Schools who earned Division I ratings of Superior at regionals and qualified for the UIL State Mariachi Festival. At the state competition, Mariachi Los Conquistadores received a Division II rating, while Mariachi Los Trovadores received a Division I rating. Congratulations to these talented musicians. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 20 Del Valle High School students who make up Mariachi Los Conquistadores, beginning with Sunshine Velez. Humberto García Soto. Yerrick Estrada. Natalia Enriquez. Aralín González. Joanne Flores. Priscilla Gano. Rudy Garcia. Natalia Garcia. Arturo Mercado. Mariano Carrillo. Jocelyn Gonzalez. Ernest Bencomo. Miguel Gonzalez. Ashley de la Rosa. Manuel Moreno. Diego Rodríguez. Francisco Mendoza. And Jolie Sanchez. The students are accompanied by Assistant Director Valentin Gonzalez and Assistant Principal Daniel Gutierrez. Let's hear it again for Mariachi, Los Conquistadores. Now, please welcome the 19 Hanks High School students that make up Mariachi Los Trovadores, beginning with Sydney Bejarano. Alyssa Duron. Aiden Heaps. Josabeth Hernandez. Leslie James. Francisco Magaña. Dylan Morales. Jessica Serrano. Aiden Alvarez. Andrés Delgado. Edwin Martinez. Sarah Ontiveros. Kajel Stammen. Janelle Garcia. Tyler Corral. Claudio Padilla. Amy Martinez. Daphne Reyes. Yasmin Terrazas. They are accompanied by Assistant Directors Osvaldo Altamirano and Juan Contreras. Their Director, Orlando Guerrero. And Principal Ruben Cadena. Let's hear it again for Mariachi Los Trovadores. Yes, thank you. I did that this time, but not the last time. Our next recognition is in honor of 5 Young Women's Leadership Academy students who took first and second places at the small school division of the rigorous academic decathlon state meet. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our academic decathlon superstars from YWLA, starting with senior Ashley Leva, who won first place in the essay category. Freshman Amaya Espino, who won first in literature. Senior Nadia Kasem, who won first place in social science and second place in interview. Junior Haley Peacock, who won second in the interview category. And sophomore Mia Castañeda, who won second place in 3 categories: math, art, and social science. They are accompanied by their teacher, Peter Bralick, and Principal Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it again for the Transformers. Our next recognition this evening is for outstanding gymnasts from Bel Air and Hanks High Schools who captured top honors at last month's state meet of the Texas High School Gymnastic Coaches Association in Rockwell. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin tonight with our silver medalist from Hanks High School who placed second in boys floor exercise. Please help me welcome senior Diego Aguilar. He is accompanied by Coach Andrea Serna. And Principal Ruben Cadena. Wait. Let's hear it again for the Knights. And now, it's time to honor the girls' gymnastics team from Bel Air High School, which won first place at district, second place at regionals, and was named an all-state team for finishing fifth at state. In addition, sophomore Skyla Cruz won sixth place at state in the girls' balance beam and girls' uneven bars, as well as seventh place in the all-around girls category. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the girls' gymnastics team from Bel Air High School, starting with senior Elena Torres. Senior Setsaid Rivero. Junior Andrea Flores Lopez. Sophomore Alexa Alcaraz. Sophomore Skyla Cruz. Sophomore Andrea Gallarzo. And sophomore Sileme Rivero. The team is accompanied by assistant coach Edgar Castro. Coach Kristen Schumacher. And Principal Jake Valtierra. Let's hear it again for the Highlanders. Our next recognition is in honor of Hanks High School senior Ian Dunn, who has been named a 2022 National Merit Scholar after earning one of the nation's highest scores on the PSAT. As a result, Ian was among about 1,000 seniors nationwide who won special scholarships from corporations and business organizations for outstanding academic promise. Specifically, Ian won a renewable $5,000 State Farm Companies Foundation Scholarship, which can be used at a regionally accredited college or university in the United States. Ian is the current president of the Speech and Debate Club, a DECA consultant, National Honor Society treasurer, and academic decathlon secretary. He plans to attend UT Austin next fall and major in economics in order to pursue a career as a financial analyst. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our 2022 National Merit Scholar from Hanks High School, Senior Ian Dunn. He is accompanied by Principal Ruben Cadena. Let's hear it again for Ian. Our final recognition is in honor of Young Women's Leadership Academy seniors Ivana Delgado and Ashley Leyva, who were among only 300 students nationwide to win the prestigious Gates Scholarship. The scholarship pays for full tuition at any accredited college or university in hopes of promoting high-achieving students the opportunity to reach their full potential. As Gates Scholars, Ivana and Ashley will also receive mentoring, career services, leadership training, and more through the program. Ivana is a first-generation scholar who was matched through Questbridge to Rice University, where she plans to major in computer science this fall. She is currently ranked #1 in her class and has earned more than $600,000 in merit-based scholarships. Ashley, who is currently ranked #2 in her class, was matched through Questbridge and will be attending Notre Dame University, where she'll major in physics with a concentration in astrophysics. Ashley, who also won the prestigious $20,000 Dell Scholarship, has earned more than $1.5 million in merit-based scholarships. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause as we introduce the district's 2022 Gates Scholars from the Young Women's Leadership Academy. Please welcome Senior Ivana Delgado. And Senior Ashley Leyva. They are accompanied by their principal, Ms. Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it one more time for our Gates Scholars. This concludes our recognitions this evening. Thank you.
Okay, that was great, just to recognize all of our wonderful students that we have at Ysleta. It's just makes us proud up here that we are doing the best we can to support them so they can be the best they can be. Thank you. Secretary Lucero, do we have citizens' input this evening?
Yes, we do. Ms. Nicole O'Leary regarding high school uniforms.
Good evening, President Ochoa, school board members, and Dr. De La Torre. I'm Nicole Leary, I'm a teacher at Eastwood High School, and I'm proud to be completing my 18th year with the district. The past 2 years have been full of struggles and changes, but it may surprise you to find that the biggest challenge we faced in high school is dress code. The impact of Google Meets and Zoom casual dress code has manifested into extremes in high school attire. I'm not exaggerating when I say that female students will now wear a sports bra or only a bra as an acceptable top at school. Male students are wearing t-shirts advertising beer, alcohol, marijuana, and guns. Jeans look like grizzly bears, shredded them to pieces for both male and female students, often exposing skin around the groin and the backside. Teachers are put in an extremely uncomfortable position of asking students to cover up or calling security and administration to deal with dress code violations. In addition, many male teachers avoid the issue completely because they know the consequences and what can happen to them. Students know if they go to an administrator and claim that a teacher has looked at them inappropriately, the teacher is removed from the campus immediately for enforcing dress code. The teacher reports to Human Resources, is asked a series of questions pertaining to grooming a student for sex, asked if they have ever sent nude pictures of themselves to a minor, and asked if they have engaged in a sexual relationship with a student. It's a mortifying experience. The teacher is placed on paid administrative leave, and an investigation takes place. During the investigation, the teacher contemplates how they will pay for their mortgage, how they'll make their car payment, and how they'll explain the situation to their spouse, children, and coworkers. This is not hyperbole. This is the protocol and procedure followed by the campus and the district level. This extremely embarrassing and stressful situation can be avoided if we implement a uniform at all of our high school campuses. The simple embroidered polo with the school insignia could alleviate teachers, administrators, and central office of this burden. Uniforms are by no means a panacea for all the issues that plague a high school, but it does cut down on dress code issues. It creates, Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. De La Torre, do you have any reports for us this evening?
Yes, President Ochoa, we'll begin with Mr. Safi reporting on the status of trustee redistricting process.
Thank you, Dr. De La Torre. President Ochoa, trustees, I'm pleased, first of all, that we were asked to assist the board in the redistricting process for this year in light of the 2020 census. And I'm happy to be here and give you a status update on where we stand with some goals of some benchmark dates looking forward to an ultimate approval by the board of a revised single-member district map. Briefly, we have obtained the software needed, the most current software that's adaptable and usable for reconfiguring the single-member districts in accordance with the census data and in accordance with the guidelines provided by the board in its prior resolutions. We have met with Dr. De La Torre, Susan Austin, and Dr. Medellin and Ms. Mathewson as well in order to discuss the logistical support that the district administration will be giving our law firm in terms of preparing the necessary materials for board consideration and consideration by the public, by your community. We have opened up the line of communications with the county elections department and have obtained from the county elections department the most current data on precinct lines and precinct populations based on their redrawing of the precinct lines to the extent they were redrawn in light of the 2020 census data. And we are in the process of ensuring that that most current data is uploaded into the software that we have available. We have developed a timeline of goals in terms of dates and benchmarks looking forward. And basically, at this point, these are those dates that we're looking at. By mid to late July, have 3 to 5 maps, preferably 5 maps, prepared that meet the criteria set out by the board previously in its resolutions. Have those maps conveyed to the board for its initial review and consideration. Approximately 2 weeks after that, which would now place us in early August, bearing in mind any input that we may have received by individual board members up to that point. This will not have been presented in a meeting context yet. Post those maps on the district website with a link or a pointer on the homepage directing interested persons to these various different possible configurations for the trustee single-member districts. Then you have your August meeting currently scheduled for August 24. And at that time, we're proposing to have from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, leading up to that board meeting, a public viewing of the maps in hard copy or on screens where they're easily visible. Encourage interested members of the public to come in, look at the maps, and provide any comment that they have. Then, at the meeting, at the 6 o'clock meeting that day, in the workshop, we'll have a formal presentation to the board of the maps, together with any comment that may have been gathered at the community meeting preceding that board meeting. Also, members who are in attendance will be encouraged, members of the public who have comments will be encouraged to share those with the board during the citizens' input portion of that August 24 meeting. Then, and at that time, the board will have ample opportunity to ask any questions that it has, provide any comments or input that it has. Then based on that, hopefully at the September meeting, post the approval of the redistricted configurations as an action item, if the board is inclined to take action at that time. If the board still has questions, still wants to provide further input or further direction, then certainly it can be brought back at the October meeting and could even be brought back again at the November meeting if necessary. So we think we have a plan that will provide ample time for the board's consideration of the Ysleta community and ample time to get something that is suitable, that meets the board's criteria and meets the board's approved, and then to the county elections administrator so that they can prepare based on the reconfigured maps, reconfigured boundary lines, so they can prepare for the implementing those in connection with the May 2023 board elections. And so that's kind of our looking ahead at this point. It's not set in concrete, but we think these are very realistic goals based on the work that we've accomplished so far. I'll be happy to entertain any questions the board may have.
I appreciate all the effort you put in so far. The only thing I would ask is if you could send us a timetable I know you spoke to it, but I would rather have a paper or something that I could refer to every so often. And the good thing about it is we don't have any elections come this November or anything like that. So we have plenty of time to decide how to reconfigure our districts for voting purposes. Yeah. So, but I would appreciate a timetable that way.
Yes, sir. Would it be okay if I just email it to the trustees and to Dr. De La Torre? Do it that way? Okay. I'll plan on doing that. And yes, Dr. President Cho, I'm glad you mentioned that. A benefit of having the elections in May of odd-numbered years is almost every other entity has already been through the redistricting process by that point because of the November elections in even-numbered years. And because of that, those entities, such as Ysleta, that have their elections in May of odd-numbered years, and in May of 2021, the census data wasn't even ready yet. And by May of 2023, we can take advantage of the kinks in the data that have been worked out by other entities already. And so that is one benefit that we have, given the date of the election. And I'll be happy to get that proposed timetable to the board. We'll plan on doing it tomorrow.
Well, we appreciate that, Mr.
Yes,
Safi.
thank you. Thank you.
Our next report is our monthly COVID update. Mrs. Lindley Leeper.
Good evening, President Ochoa, members of the board, and Dr. De La Torre. I have just a brief two-slide presentation. We have 4 indicators that we track. 2 are currently green, 2 are currently red, putting us smack in the middle of a yellow category. We've been there for over 14 days. You can see that when we look at the average number of new daily cases in the community for the past week, we've seen 56 cases that were positive. Our positivity rate is at 14.35%, but I would remind you that at the peak of testing, the community was seeing administering about 50,000 tests per day. Now we're only testing less than 1,000 a day. So obviously, those people are probably already sick or they wouldn't be seeking testing, and so you're going to see a higher positivity rate when you're testing less people who are already sick, and those are the ones that are going to get a test. And then the 7-day rolling average of new cases in the community is up 0.9, and hospitalization is at 1.16. You may remember that Governor Abbott and TEA's threshold was 15%, put us into the dangerous capacity level in terms of our resources. And so this next slide is just a visual representation of the things that I just told you about. The new daily cases, interestingly, it still barely looks like it's above 0. You can see a slight uptick at the very end for May 2022, and I can see Ms. Lucero looking closely. It's hard to see because we're still running right along the 0. In terms of positivity, again, you can see in May of 2022 that slight uptick because of the number of positive cases as a percentage of the test administered is up. And then hospitalization is still down very low, well below the 15% and even below 10%, hovering just above 1. With that, I can take any questions you might have. No? All right.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
On the infection rate, I know that I've been watching the news, and there's a lot of increase in infection rates up like in New York and areas like that. My question is, I know there's various variants out there, and nobody's really talking about how dangerous they are as the one we suffered for the last year. Is there a comparison as to, I know with these variants, I know some of them are mild, some of them are strong or
So
dangerous?
I think there is some data available. I've noticed that the scientists seem to complain about the availability of immediate data that we can analyze and compare. Omicron was serious. It was very contagious. It ran rampant through the community. What I'm seeing currently in the research that I do keep up with each week is that we have a high percentage of vaccinated individuals. And so even though we see breakthrough cases, those breakthrough cases are not nearly as sick as the people that are catching it in other communities. So we had one of the highest community rates of vaccination among any of the communities in the state of Texas, which is why I think you're seeing less of an impact in terms of hospitalization on our community. If you notice, there's a weekly report that comes out from the city. Most of the cases right now are minor breakthrough cases, but they are not rendering the people really, really sick like these others were.
Yeah, and I think that because the rate of infection is climbing, but our hospitalization is low, those two go hand in hand as to how sick people are getting if they are infected. Mostly they're at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's right.
just want to keep an eye on that because, it's just, we just never know. We're not out of the woods yet, but.
So Dr. Medellin continues to update our website every week. We get the report from the data a week before. It's updated weekly. We monitor it in terms of do we need to do anything internally, but we're solidly in the yellow with very low hospitalization. I think we fared very well this spring.
Yeah. The good thing is that come June 1st, most of our schools are going to be out, so that really will help a lot in bringing that infection rate down.
Hope so.
No other questions? Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Thank you.
And our final report is summary and questions for the internal audit pertaining to the monthly audit. Xingping Chi.
Good evening, Mr. Ochoa, Dr. De La Torre, all board members and guests. This will be our April report. Next page, please. During this month, we have 22 active projects going on. Next page, please. Among these, we have 14 report issued with a cap and needing the audit, follow-up audit. And we completed 17 audit projects and 1 highlight cases. Next page, please. Here is a quick summary of the elementary school cash management audit with the CAP report issue. So from the initial audit, CAP issue till now, we are waiting for later part of year to do follow-up audit. So Bel Air Learning Community have 5 schools. Del Valle have 3 schools. Next page, please. Eastwood Learning Community, 4 schools. Hanks Learning Community, 5 schools. Next page, please. Parkland Elementary area, 5 schools. Riverside Learning Community, 5 schools. Next page, please. Ysleta Learning Community, 5 schools. Next page, please. And this is the April, we handle the highlight cases. In the detail, it's in the project tracking as well. So all these have been properly forwarded to the related departments for them to do further study and get back to us. Next page, please. And these are, so there are 5 of them on this. Next page, please. So in summary, we have 8 department projects going on.
Can you go back? You're going too fast.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what were you saying about this one?
There was one call concerning a department employee was using the office hours to do Avon sales, and we forwarded to the HR, and HR communicated with the department director, so the director took actions to communicate to the employee and also reinforce and remind employee of the work hours and work ethics.
Can I ask a question on the bus driver? I know that there have been discussed expectations of behavior and appropriate communication. Is there some sort of monitoring after the fact to make sure that the bus driver complies with what he was addressed to?
With the highlight cases, what we handle the processes that we listen to the tapes, and I would forward it to. If it's not financially directly, then I forward it to employee relations. Ms. Bobby Russell.
All I'm asking, is it monitored after the fact, just to make sure the compliance is?
I probably need Bobby to answer that.
Yes, sir. What happens is once we have an allegation of this nature, we meet with the employee, we update the director of the department, and she monitors for consistency.
Okay, that's
Yes,
all I
sir.
wanted to know, just make sure.
Yes, sir.
Because it says case is closed, and it's not really closed, it's just.
The particular
far as the-
report is, but we
right.
continue to monitor
Yeah.
ongoing. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Do you wish internal audit do something
no,
subsequent to that?
nope.
Okay. Next page, please. So overall, in this, we have 8 department audits going on, 2 campus exit audit, and 1 we postponed to later point. From the 20 carry forward photo audits, we
Why did you
finished 8 of
postpone?
them. I'm sorry?
Why did you postpone?
The postpone is because the interim principal is there.
Okay.
Also, we just did cash management audit for the schools already.
Okay.
So we think it's better to have, when a new principal comes, and a longer time enough for transactions to reflect the new process, et cetera, okay? And we continue to share the audit report with the 3 chief officers and the supervising associate superintendents. Next page, please. So with everybody's support, which is very crucial, with administration support, your support, and everybody cooperation, district will be successful. Any question?
No, I think your presentation flowed very well. It's just, how is your staff doing there now that they're all back on the ground? Are they?
Yes. We continue to do a lot of training because of the pandemic, because of different changes on policy, procedures. So
That's always changing.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so
Well, no,
we do.
I just wanted to make sure that everything's fine, everything is running smoother than it was before, and congratulate you on a good presentation.
Yes, and we do appreciate it. All the support from you and from all the administration and from schools and departments.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hector.
We will now proceed with agenda review. We will discuss agenda items as listed in the posted notice of regular meeting of Ysleta ISD Board of Trustees for May 11, 2022, and related recommended motions with the superintendent and executive cabinet, and receive responses to questions and/or requests for additional information through the superintendent in preparation for deliberation and action on said items at the May 11, 2022 regular Board of Trustees meeting. Please stop me if you have any questions or you wish to pull an item. Consent items, minutes of number 1, Board of Trustees, Board Training, March 22nd, 2022, 6 p.m. Consent item number 2, Board of Trustees Workshop, April 11th, 2022, 6 p.m. Consent item number 3, Board of Trustees Regular Meeting, April 13th, 2022, 6 p.m. Consent item number 4, Monthly Financial Update for month ending March 31st, 2022. Consent item number 5, Low Attendance Day Waiver for Parkland Middle School and Parkland High School on April 8th, 2022. Consent item number 6, Approval of Amendment number 5 to YISD Contract number 98-850-428 with Region 19 Education Service Center.
I have a question on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is this located? 211 Prado Street? Okay. I was just curious if it was in the district, and it is.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Consent item number 7, approval of YSD contract number 2022017, interlock agreement with Region 19 Education Service Center. Consent item number 8, approval of YISD contract number 202202221 with Communities in School of El Paso, Inc. Number 9, approval of YISD contract number 202202232 with the University of Texas at El Paso. We shall now proceed to the action items. Action item number 1, ratify approval of award of 5-star innovation competition, GT STEM coding and robotics competition in April 2021. Action item number 2, award of phase number 2, solicitation number 222003, RFP, BP 1907, Riverside High School, CTE, additions and renovations. Number 4, cooperative requisition with H.A. Gray and Associates for the replacement of cooling towers at Ysleta ISD Administration Building. Action number 5. Action item number 5 is BP 1909A, Capistrano Elementary School, YISD contract number 202-00106 with AO General Contractor, Inc. We also have the order of the closed session is closed session level 3 grievance hearing. Number 1, discuss and consider the level 3 employee grievance of Marco Sierra. The board will reconvene in open session and address item number 2, consider and take possible action on the level 3 employee grievance of Marco Sierra. Okay. The order of the agenda has been approved. May I have an electronic motion and a second on the consent items listed and on the agenda as recommended by the administration?
Mr. President,
Ms. Woodruff?
I move to approve the consent agenda items listed on this agenda as recommended by the administration.
I have a second by Mr. Haggerty. Please cast your electronic votes. All votes have been cast. 7 approve, 0. Okay, where do we go here? Number 5. Yeah, got it. All right, we'll just now discuss, vote on the action items. Number 1, ratify and approve of award for 5-star innovation competition, GT STEM coding and robotics competition in April 2021. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion? Go ahead.
I think this is a good opportunity. I understand that we're ratifying this and the services have already been rendered by Trustee Haggerty, but I think this is a good opportunity to have a discussion about how we want to proceed in the future regarding board members consulting for the district when they're board members. I would like to see a policy or at least a discussion that aligns with the policy that we have, the current policy that states that board members are not allowed to work for the district until after their completion of being a board member. I think that we need to align those while this is a great service, and I believe that Trustee Haggerty does an excellent job, I think that it's also important to lead with integrity as far as a district and make decisions that are in the best interest ethically at all times for the district. And I think this particular loophole was designed, I've just been doing some research on it, but I think this particular loophole was designed for smaller districts in rural areas that really don't have anybody at all that can provide that particular service, whatever the service might be. We're in an urban area where I believe that it's important to have some healthy competition and give the opportunity to other providers to be able to see if they can provide the same type of service.
I can't. Yes, I can. Mr. Ramirez.
I'd just like to make a couple of comments. Well, number one, it was not a loophole, it's just the way it is. You know, you have to do business that way, so I don't call it a loophole. And well, I'm just telling you how I interpret it. It's not a loophole, it's just the way it is. And you're absolutely right, it's that way because there's just not a whole lot of competition. When with a number of ISDs out there, with the majority of them, over 50% of them being, you know, really rural, there's not a whole lot of opportunity for competition. Secondly, I'd like to believe that we do everything with integrity, and that we and we're ethical in our actions and everything we do. And we've made some hard decisions in the past, and I'm very comfortable with everything we've done in the past and what we may do tonight. So I'd like for that to be known. And then finally, I've known Mr. Haggerty for a number of years, starting way back in the public safety days. And one of the important things that the community needs to be reminded is that he's been doing these things before he became a trustee. And he did these things after he was not a trustee. It's been an ongoing effort. It's been an ongoing passion of his to be involved with this. And so the issue in my mind of him you know, coming along and being in the right place, right time, that's not true. He's worked very hard to create this and grow this, and he has a huge passion for this type of competition, this type of opportunity for our students, and he has a huge passion for his Parkland learning community and for all kids in our community. And so, you know, I think it's important for us to be aware of that, and I'd like the whole community to know that Mr. Haggerty does things with integrity. He does things ethically, and he's a stand-up guy. And I would have no problem, you know, leaving my wallet or my billfold or whatever with him, and because I trust him to do the right thing.
But it's not about that.
It is for me. Well, I'm just saying, making my statement.
But
okay?
what I'm saying is
Can I finish, please?
Yes, but I just don't want us to personalize
Can I finish,
it.
please?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'm just stating how I feel about things, because that's what you stated earlier.
Yeah.
Okay?
But I didn't direct it directly at Mr. Haggerty.
Well,
I mean,
I understand
our role
that.
is to do policy.
I understand that,
and that's what we need to
but
do.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
you made your statement. I give you the floor to do that, and I have the floor now
Yes, you do.
to make that up, to make those, respond to those comments, and just respond in general. I wasn't planning to say anything tonight, but just the opportunity arose, and that's why I did that. Thank you.
But, okay, so let me interject here. I think that we have to look at the policies that we have in place right now. And I think we should have a workshop later so we can look over these policies and make any necessary changes that we deem as the board. Okay, so that's all I have for this at this time. I don't think this has already been something that has that is in place. We cannot change any of that, but in the future, I think we have the opportunity to change our policy if the board deems necessary. And in a future workshop that I'm sure that Dr. La Torre and his staff could work it in so we could discuss that.
I want to say one more thing. It's not about Trustee Haggerty personally. It's not about any of us here personally. It's about just even in the words that were shared, in the comments from Trustee Rosales, we all know each other. We all trust each other. I would trust Trustee Haggerty with my wallet as well. That's not the issue. The issue is being able to make it competitive for others that are out there. That's what it is. And we have the choice to be board members or do work for the district. That's my only concern, and it's not personal. It's more about policy. That's it.
All right.
We'll work with the board officers to set up a date to discuss this policy or related policies surrounding what you all have discussed.
Appreciate that. Mr. Rosales?
You know, when I read this item, it brought certain thoughts. Like the rest of us, we've known Mr. Haggerty I've known him for 7 years. And in that period of time, he's been board president. I have no question about his integrity. But I went back on my own and I said, what are the benefits? The benefits that this gentleman is providing are some things that are not provided arbitrarily by a group of people. And he's been dedicated himself to doing this for quite a few years. So that's a big plus. The issue that that you brought up, Ms. Luceto, in regards to integrity, I think it's very valid. But by the same token, we also have to take it upon ourselves as individuals. Are we going to address things with integrity or otherwise? And I feel right now that a review of the procedures, Dr. La Torre, would be appropriate. In this particular case, we're not talking about millions of dollars. We're talking about the benefit that this gentleman has brought to our children. And that, to me, says a whole bunch more than the dollars. If we're out of line at this point, it's not so much that we favor or have anything that we have going with Mr. Haggerty. It's the fact that the benefits are there for our children. And this is why at this point, even though would like to do a review, I feel very strong that what he has done, he ought to be applauded for all his efforts. If you go back, I guess a couple of weeks ago or last month, we had a tremendous outpouring of kids in the robotics arena, didn't we? And those things don't happen because they just happen. They happen because of the dedication of people like Mr. Haggerty and those around him. So let's move on, if you will, and review it, Dr. La Torre. I certainly don't want to spend a whole bunch of time with a board shopper and all that, but I think we can work this thing through and let the public know that we're on top of this. We're not favoring one board member over another. All right? Thank you so much.
Shane? You have anything? No? Okay, I think that
I just, Dr. De La Torre and I had discussed this matter briefly earlier this week, and I'm sorry. Dr. De La Torre and I had discussed this matter briefly earlier this week, and we discussed the policies and so forth. And so if the board has any questions, I'm certainly available to answer those, but it looks like the board's ready to move on, so that's fine.
yeah, I think we just have to move on, and this was something that happened. There was nothing that was planned. But in the future, I think we have to look and see what policy we have in place in regards to something like this. So, and like I said, the board is the board. They can make the decisions to if they want to make any changes or not. So I think everybody here is willing to do that. And there's nothing against Mr. Haggerty, nothing against the support that he has given. I'm a robotics guy, and I know how hard it is to do that. But being on the board is a different situation. So if there's no further discussion, may I have a motion? Mr. Bustillos.
President Ochoa. President Ochoa. President Ochoa, I move to ratify the payment for materials and services for GT Engineering competition, 7th and 8th grade Parkland Pre-Engineering Middle School on April 16th and April 23rd, 2021 to Shine Haggerty for a total fee of $4,400.
We have a second by Mr. Rosales. Please cast your electronic votes. All votes have been cast. 5 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 abstain. Action item number 2, award of phase number 2 solicitation number 222003 RFP BP 1907 Riverside High School CTE additions and renovations. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion? No further discussion. May I have a motion? Mr. Bustillos.
President Ochoa, I move to approve and award of phase number 2 solicitation of number 222003 RFP BP 1907 Riverside High School CTE additions and renovations for $1,579,150 for Buford Thompson Company LLC towards guaranteed maximum price, with the remaining package totaling the guaranteed maximum price and estimated cost of construction presented at subsequent board meeting contingent upon final negotiations, in-house council review, and Form 1295 certificate of interested parties.
Thank you. We have a second by Mr. Haggerty. Please cast your electronic votes. All votes have been cast. The results are 7 in favor, none opposed. Action item number 4, cooperative requisition with H.A. Gray and Associates for the replacement of cooling towers at Ysleta ISD Administration Building. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion?
We did that on purpose.
No discussion, no further discussion. May I have a motion? Ms. Woodruff.
Mr. President, I move to approve award of YISD cooperative requisition with H.A. Gray Associates for replacement of 2 cooling towers at Ysleta Independent School District Administration Building in the amount of $1,022,137 through a purchasing cooperative contingent upon final negotiations, in-house council review, and Form 1295 certificate of interested parties.
Please cast your electronic votes. All votes have been cast. Results are 7 in favor, none opposed. I might need to make some clarification on this item number 3. Item number 3 is a duplicate action item number 2. That's why we went to number 4. Action item number 5, BP 1909A Capistrano Elementary School YISD contract number 202000106 with AO General Contractor, Inc. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion? No further discussion. May I have a motion? Mr. Rosales.
Mr. Chairman, I move to confirm amount of $11,928,918 is the final guaranteed maximum price for approved for Phase 1 of BP 1909A Capistrano Elementary School Project YISD contract number 202 00106 with AO General Contractor, Inc., and approve extension of the substantial completion date from December 10th of 2021 to August the 15th of 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Rosales. It's been seconded by Mr. Ramirez. Please cast your electronic votes. Results are in, 7 in favor, none opposed. That concludes the action items. The board will now move into closed session in the Ysleta room. All those who are not directly involved in the Level 3 grievance are excused from the Ysleta room at this time. The board will now go into closed session to hear and consider the Level 3 employee grievance appeal of Marco Sierra pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Should any final action, decision, or vote be required with regard to any matter considered in closed session, the final action, decision, or vote shall be in the open meeting or at a subsequent public meeting with notice. The board will now go into closed session at 6:31 p.m. Convene this meeting of the Board of Trustees in open session with Charlie Bustillos, Soltero Ramirez, Shane Haggerty, Mike Rosales, Connie Woodruff, Catherine Lucero, and myself, Cruz Ochoa, at 8:10 p.m. on Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. The board may make a decision on this grievance appeal at this meeting or at a next regularly scheduled board meeting. If the board does not make a decision regarding the complaint by the end of the next regular scheduled meeting, the lack of response by the board will have the effect of upholding the administrative decision at level 2. Does any trustee wish to make a motion?
Yes, President Ochoa, I'd like to make a motion. I move to uphold the administration's decision at level 2.
We have a motion. May I have a second? Yes. Okay. Ms. Lucero make a motion. We have a second by Mr. Bustillos. Please cast your electronic votes. Mr. Rosales?
I'm in the system to get. Okay, now it came up. Okay.
All votes have been cast. 7 yes, no approve. No for no. 0 for no. This time, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.